The steppe that does not beg. The steppe does not announce itself. It stretches, endless and indifferent, grass bending under a wind that never asks permission. The sky sits heavy and close, blue sharpened by distance, clouds racing like thoughts that refuse to settle. There are no walls here, no temples, no marble promises of permanence, only movement, only survival, only the truth that anything standing still too long will be erased. This land has swallowed armies before. Men arrive thinking emptiness means weakness. They mistake openness for surrender. They do not understand that the steppe does not protect. You must learn to protect yourself. Horses cut across the grass like living arrows. Camps rise and vanish. Fires burn low and clean. This is not a place that tolerates excess. It teaches restraint, precision, and the value of striking first when hesitation means death. At the center of this world stands a woman who does not rule from a throne. She rules from a saddle. Tomyris watches the horizon without squinting. Her posture is easy, practiced, the kind that comes from a lifetime of knowing exactly where danger comes from. She wears no crown, no veil, no borrowed authority. Her power lives in the people who follow her without question, and in the enemies who learn too late that distance is not safety. Among the Massagetae, leadership is not inherited politely. It is tested, earned, reinforced every day through action. A queen here is not insulated from consequence. She rides with her warriors. She eats what they eat. She bleeds when they bleed. Tomyris has already survived what would have ended most rulers. She has buried a husband. She has held her people together through loss. She has learned that grief is a luxury, one that must be postponed until survival is secured. Her authority does not come from myth or lineage. It comes from clarity. She knows who her people are. She knows what this land demands, and she knows exactly what it refuses. Far beyond the grass, beyond the rivers and the dust, an empire is growing fat on victory. It calls itself civilized. It builds roads and cities and laws. It believes expansion is destiny. Its king has never been defeated. He looks at the map and sees the steppe as unfinished business, a blank space waiting to be corrected. He does not see Tomyris. That will be his final mistake. Because this land does not bend. This queen does not negotiate. And when the steppe decides to answer arrogance, it answers in blood. This is not the story of a woman who tried to stop an empire. This is the story of the woman who ended one. Tomyris was born into motion. Not into rooms, not into rituals, not into walls meant to last longer than memory, but into a life that understood permanence was a lie. Among the Massagetae, the land moved you or it killed you. Seasons dictated survival. Horses were not tools, they were extensions of the body. Children learned to ride before they learned to fear. This was not hardship, this was training. From the beginning, Tomyris learned what the steppe valued: alertness over comfort, loyalty over hierarchy, strength proven through action rather than title. A leader who could not endure the same hunger, cold, and danger as their people did not remain a leader for long. She learned to read wind and silence. She learned when to move and when to wait. She learned that hesitation was deadlier than any blade. There were no myths told to protect her childhood, no soft lies about destiny. The steppe did not promise survival, it offered only possibility. Those who adapted lived, those who clung to certainty vanished. Tomyris adapted. She watched the elders make decisions without sentiment. She watched warriors fall and be mourned briefly, honestly, and then replaced. Life continued because it had to. Grief was acknowledged, not indulged. This shaped her more than any lesson in power ever could. By the time she reached adulthood, Tomyris understood something deeply unsettling to outsiders. Peace was not the absence of violence. Peace was preparedness. It was knowing that if someone came to take what was yours, they would pay for every step forward. Among the Massagetae, that knowledge was not cruel, it was love. Tomyris did not inherit a fantasy. When she rose to leadership, it was not accompanied by prophecy or ceremony meant to disguise uncertainty. Her people did not need convincing stories about divine favor. They needed someone who could keep them alive. She proved she could. Her authority did not rest on lineage alone. It rested on trust earned through visibility. She rode with her warriors. She listened before she spoke. She punished betrayal swiftly and rewarded loyalty without excess. Under her leadership, the Massagetae did not grow rich, but they remained free. And freedom, on the steppe, was wealth. Tomyris did not believe in the inevitability of empire. She had seen empires before, distant, arrogant, confident that numbers and organization could conquer anything. She understood their weakness immediately. Empires assumed submission was rational. They assumed resistance was temporary. They assumed everyone wanted what they offered. Tomyris knew better. Her people did not want roads that led away from their land. They did not want laws written by strangers. They did not want a king who ruled from a city so far removed from hunger that he forgot what it cost. She ruled without illusions about mercy. She understood that restraint only worked when backed by force, that peace existed only because violence remained an option. So, when rumors reached her of a growing power to the south and west, a king who had never lost, whose armies swallowed cities and called it order, Tomyris did not panic. She calculated. She watched the borders. She studied patterns of conquest. She listened to traders and scouts. And long before the empire noticed her people, Tomyris was already preparing for it. Because the steppe had taught her the most important lesson of all. Those who wait to be threatened are already too late. Far from the steppe, the world is being reorganized. Cities fall not with screams, but with signatures. Roads spread like veins. Laws replace customs. Cyrus the Great stands at the center of it all, undefeated and convinced that conquest is not cruelty, but improvement. He believes, truly believes, that what he builds will outlast what he destroys. The Persian Empire expands with confidence sharpened by success. Cyrus has beaten kings who claimed divine favor. He has absorbed nations older than memory. Every victory reinforces the same lesson. Resistance breaks, eventually. Diplomacy softens what force cannot finish, and if neither works, time will. Then the map reaches the edge of the known world. Beyond the rivers, beyond the borders that make sense to imperial minds, lies the steppe, wide, unstructured, defiant. A land without cities to seize or palaces to occupy. A people who move when threatened and return when it suits them. Cyrus does not see a problem. He sees an absence, an unclaimed space, an unfinished story. He asks questions. His advisors speak of nomads, of warriors without walls, of a queen who rules among them, a woman. Cyrus smiles at that detail. Empires have many tools for women who stand in the way. He does not send an army first. He sends a proposal. The message arrives wrapped in civility. Cyrus offers marriage, not as surrender, but as unity. Two rulers joined, two peoples aligned, protection in exchange for partnership. He frames it as generosity, as elevation, as an opportunity Tomyris would be foolish to refuse. The offer is clever. Marriage would make conquest unnecessary. Her people would become subjects without ever being called conquered. Their land would be absorbed quietly. Their resistance would be reframed as loyalty. History would remember Cyrus as magnanimous. Tomyris reads the message once. She does not ask for counsel. She does not hesitate. She recognizes the structure immediately, the familiar shape of a cage lined with compliments. Marriage would not make her equal. It would make her useful, temporary, replaceable. She sends her answer back without ornament. No, not a softened refusal, not a diplomatic delay, a clear, public rejection that leaves no room for reinterpretation. She warns Cyrus plainly, "Take your empire elsewhere. Do not mistake my restraint for weakness. Do not test the steppe. It is not a threat, it is information." Cyrus does not receive it as such. He hears insult. He hears defiance where he expects gratitude. A woman refusing him publicly is not merely inconvenient, it is destabilizing. His advisors caution patience. Cyrus dismisses it. He has never lost. He convinces himself the refusal is temporary, that resistance will collapse once pressure is applied, that Tomyris, like every other ruler before her, will learn. What he does not understand, what he has never had to understand, is that some leaders do not bluff. Tomyris has already decided how this ends. The marriage was the last door she left open. Now the steppe prepares to teach an empire what refusal really means. Cyrus does not attack openly. He does something far more imperial. He invites. A camp is prepared near the border, tents rich with fabric, tables heavy with food, jars of wine brought from lands where abundance is used as persuasion. The invitation is framed as goodwill, a gesture, a conversation meant to smooth what pride has roughened. Tomyris does not go. She sends her son, young, capable, trusted, a bridge between warning and war. The Persians welcome him generously. They feast. They pour wine stronger than anything the steppe drinks. They encourage celebration. They encourage forgetfulness. And when the Masagatai warriors fall into unfamiliar sleep, the trap closes. Steel flashes. Bodies fall. Survivors are bound. Tomyris's son is taken alive. Cyrus calls it victory. He calls it strategy. The steppe calls it treachery. The news reaches Tomyris without ornament. Her son is captured. Her warriors slaughtered in their sleep. The wine still stains the ground where honor should have stood. Cyrus sends word again, this time with confidence. Submission is offered as mercy. Resistance, he implies, will cost her everything she loves. Tomyris does not collapse. She does not scream. She does not beg. She feels grief the way the steppe teaches grief, privately, completely, and without illusion. Her son, refusing captivity, takes his own life rather than be paraded as leverage. When the message reaches her, something in Tomyris settles, not breaks, settles. She sends her final reply. It is not long, it is not emotional. She tells Cyrus he has had his fill of deceit, that he has taken what does not belong to him, that she warned him once and will not warn him again. Then she promises him something no empire ever believes until it's too late. Blood. Cyrus laughs. He interprets her message as theatre, a grieving woman lashing out. He orders his armies forward, confident that numbers, discipline and armor will do what charm could not. He marches into the steppe, and the steppe closes around him. The Massageti do not fight like empire armies. They do not hold ground for symbolism. They do not protect supply lines meant to be admired. They move, they strike, they vanish. They bleed the Persians slowly, deliberately, from every direction. The grass becomes a weapon. The distance becomes a trap. The sky offers no shelter. Tomyris leads without spectacle. No speeches, no banners, only coordination, timing, and fury sharpened by restraint. Her people fight not for conquest, not for glory, but for ending the threat entirely. By the time Cyrus realizes this is not a skirmish, it is too late. The final battle is chaos without romance. Persian formations fracture. Cavalry overwhelms infantry. Discipline collapses under terrain it was never designed to master. Cyrus fights bravely. That much history allows him. It does not save him. He falls in the dust of a land he believed empty. The empire's momentum dies with him. Tomyris finds his body. There is no ceremony, no rage left to spend, only completion. She orders his head removed and placed into a vessel filled with blood, not as cruelty, but as punctuation, as fulfillment of a promise spoken clearly and ignored arrogantly. "You wanted blood," the gesture says. "Drink." Then she turns away. The steppe does not linger. The Persians retreat, not strategically, not proudly. They withdraw because there is nothing left to prove. The steppe remains unconquered. The Masagatai remain free. Tomyris does not pursue empire in return. She does not expand. She does not seek vengeance beyond necessity. She has accomplished what she set out to do: end the threat. Later historians soften the story. They call her barbaric. They call her savage. They call the account exaggerated. Anything is easier than writing the truth plainly. A woman defeated the greatest empire of her time. She did not do it with diplomacy. She did not do it with mercy. She did it decisively. So they turn her into legend, because legends are safer than lessons. The wind moves through the grass. No monuments mark the victory. No empire rises in response. The steppe remains what it has always been: free, dangerous, uninterested in being ruled. Tomyris returns to her people. She does not boast. She does not explain. She does not apologize. She ruled when it mattered. She warned before it was necessary. And when the warning was ignored, she ended the conversation.
If this story unsettled you, good. Power is only comfortable when it belongs to the familiar. History has no problem celebrating conquerors until a woman ends one and refuses to apologize for it. Subscribe as we continue to exhume the lives of the dark heroines. Next time, we leave the open steppe and enter a collapsing empire where a woman survived capture, exile, and betrayal, only to become the quiet architect of Rome's final power. She didn't conquer with armies. She ruled through endurance, intelligence, and the long game. Next time, Galla Placidia, the woman who outlived an empire. Stay dangerous, stay loud, and never let them hold the pen.